Hey guys, this is Joseph Lucero, and today we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics that I've gotten to talk about, and it's power building. And we're going to help you today understand the top tips I would suggest for someone who's a beginner in power building. So, what is power building? To kind of make it short, it's a blend of powerlifting and bodybuilding tactics into one program. So if you're someone watching this video who wants to get bigger, stronger, more capable, power building might just be the place for you to go to. So first of all, we've defined it. We've kind of found the population that likes power building. Let's talk about how do you implement power building. Obviously, I've written articles about it on this website, and I super enjoy talking about it. But for a lot of people, they just want kind of a quick glance at what is power building and how to attack it immediately. So I'm going to go ahead and work through my 5 tips on how to implement a power building program that's going to make you bigger, stronger, and more capable than ever. So the first thing I would suggest for anyone doing power building is that, when you start your split, every day should be a compound movement, more so a powerlifting movement. So the main powerlifting movements are squat, bench, deadlift, and I don't want to make anybody irritated who's a powerlifter, but we're also going to consider the idea of the overhead press as well. Just because a horizontal press is going to take you so far, but implementing the vertical press is going to make those shoulders bulletproof. And if you do have some weak shoulders, maybe there's some accommodations we can suggest along the way. But essentially, starting off the day with a power building movement, or rather a compound movement, is perfect because the more muscles you use, the more metabolically exhausting a workout's going to be. And that's what we want to do. We want to get ourselves fatigued by using that compound movement first, which is typically a squat, bench, deadlift, or perhaps an overhead press. Now, if you're not sure what a compound movement is, it's a multi-joint movement. So like bench press is shoulders and elbows, and because I'm using multiple joints, I'm using a lot more muscle. And the more muscle I use, the more tired I become, so it makes it a much more exhausting workout to get much more benefit from it. So once you've established your powerlifting movement, potentially a second movement that's a variation of a powerlifting movement, now the rest of the program, you want to focus more on some bodybuilding tactics. You want to focus on some bodybuilding accessories that come next. So when I say powerlifting, I'm thinking multi-joint. When I say bodybuilding, I'm thinking of single joint movements like chest flies, reverse flies, cable curls, push downs, etc. Those come second because what's happening is with the compound movements at the beginning, it's exhausting your whole anatomy. And then from there, we can focus on little parts of your anatomy that are going to build off that fatigue. Because if you're a science nerd like me, we understand that fatigue is going to be the catalyst for growth and development. So make sure that the second thing you focus on within your program after your powerlifting movements, aka your compounds, are bodybuilding accessories that are single joint. They're going to focus on specific parts of the anatomy to grow them and get them better than ever. Now, if you're doing a workout and you're thinking, man, I got to put on a lot of weight, or you're kind of getting exhausted because your anatomy is getting a little overworked from the power building concept, another thing you should think about, my third tip, is manipulating rest rates. So remember, you're on a power building split. You're not necessarily trying to be a great power lifter or a great bodybuilder, but you're implementing both concepts because you want to get bigger, stronger, and more capable. So we're going to sacrifice rest just a little bit. So for my compounds, I'm thinking 3 minutes, maybe up to 5, but only go 2 or 3 sets because right there, we're just trying to build up the intensity, spike a little bit of exhaustion, and then from there, when our bodybuilding accessories come in, we're only going to rest between 30 to 90 seconds in between. So if you did a bodybuilding accessory that might have been still a compound movement like dips, maybe that's more 90 seconds, but things that are single joint, we want to go 60 to 30 seconds because the less rest you have, the harder it is going to be to recover, and you're going to stay in a very metabolic state, which is going to exhaust you, which again, like we talked about, fatigue is at a big catalyst for provoking growth. It's going to spike those levels of GH and testosterone so that we start to get more muscle mass than we've had before. So we've talked about the first 3 tips. Start with the compound, start focusing on the bodybuilding accessories from there, manipulate your rest rates. Now, what we need to think about too is, are we going to focus on time under tension or volume? I know there's some people who author on this website, and I'm not trying to make them upset or anything like that, but if you're thinking about just growing the muscle in general, I think time under tension does allow to have similar benefits as you would with volume. So, ooh, God, I'm starting to make people mad right now, right? But that's not the case, because here's the thing. I've had clients who have told me, hey, I want bigger pecs, but I'm tired of bench pressing super heavy. So we kind of talk about the power building concept, and I tell them, hey, we're gonna give you short rest breaks, and I want you to work on tension. I want you to work on a specific cadence. So like 5 seconds down, 2-second pause, hold that stretch, and then 3 seconds up, and then squeeze the pecs at the top. When you focus on time under tension and volume, they're both going to elicit fatigue, right? But time under tension is going to spare the joints from all the movement. But scientifically, volume is said to make the muscles have a much more hypertrophic response because of it. But it's, to me, from what I see and what I read, it's kind of debatable. You can see size development in both aspects and is effective. And for the populations who don't want to worry about strength as much, maybe they should focus more on time under tension. Or maybe you just want to manipulate the whole workout, and maybe you want to exhaust your pecs before you do other movements so that your pecs can get the most growth because of that tactic. So the fourth tip, like I've mentioned, is it time under tension or volume that you're going to focus on? Time under tension will grow the muscle. You're not going to lift as strong. Volume can help with the connective tissue and to keep the integrity of it high so that maybe you can spare yourself from injuries. It's just kind of up to you how you want to handle it. I think implement both. So if you're doing a power building movement or a training session, do some eccentric focus chest flies and then go into dumbbell press. You'll feel it a lot more in your pecs then, and then maybe you're so fatigued you don't have to lift a lot of weight, so when you hit high volume, you kind of spare yourself on the intensity. And then the last thing I'm going to suggest for you guys, the fifth tip, use deload weeks. They say a lot in science that the muscle's going to grow more when it's resting. So if you keep beating yourself down with these high intensity weeks, it's going to be hard to recover from, and it's going to actually make you regress in performance. So I definitely recommend using deload weeks every 3 to 4 weeks. And if you want an easy way to integrate it, whatever volume you're doing before, do 80% of it. Whatever intensity you're using before, use 80% of it. So think about it like this. If you did 10 reps of 300, now 80% of 10 is 8, and then 80% of 300 is 240. So on the deload week, instead of doing 10 reps at 300, do 8 reps at 240. It keeps it consistent, it keeps it the same, and keeps everything relative for your growth and development. So hopefully you guys liked my video today. I love the topic of power building. If you want to leave a comment or suggest anything else or like this video, please do so, and hopefully we'll catch you next time.